they are done for the stage and for the year. The consequences could not be more dire. Only one map away from meeting Talon in the semi-final.
Yeah, and I think Rob's put that best, because the thing for me is going to be, can WEBL deal with that sort of external pressure, being if they lose this map, their stage is done. There has to be sort of a weight from that pressure put on your shoulders coming into a game like this. Depends. Some teams probably don't look into it as much. They just focus on the game and the game itself and not sort of the outcome. But I think it's still something for a young team, a new team, and a newly put together team where it's sort of like, okay, we've had a good stage, but is it all about to come to an end? And the pressure's on us now. It's our map pick. We're down a map. We have to do this, this, and this. It's all about we. It's not about LAVEGA now. LAVEGA, job done. Even though it wasn't the sort of most clean game and it wasn't the most clinical siege, job done. They got their map pick. Okay, worst case scenario, this goes to the decider map, which I think anything can probably happen on that Heaven Labs. So for me, this is now the pressure onto WEBL.
So in terms of the bans, then it will be Ying Montang off the board, so replicating what we saw on the previous map, Oregon. Mirror as well off, and that alleviates a lot of pressure on some positions on this map, especially over towards Office, for instance. Zami as well will see no further play, and that means that the defense is actually going to be quite exposed here. So for LAVEGA, this could be a little bit challenging to kick things off, and an opportunity for WEBL to crack open some of these rounds and apply some pressure.
So WEBL going to be on the attack first here for Border, a map we haven't really seen a whole lot of, I don't think, in the Korean region. Played just once back in Stage 2's regular portion. That one particular game was 50-50, although for some reason it says it ended at 14 rounds. I don't know how that ends up working. Apparently it was played once in a 7-7 scoreline. I guess they just didn't finish the last round. But in terms of the LCQ, also hasn't been played. There's not really a whole lot on Border. I should say, I don't know why, but the Wikipedia is wrong. It was an 8-6 in favor of WEBL, that one particular game of Border. But I will say that was also the 5th place match card. So how much credence do you really put into that? Maybe not too much. And to be fair, that particular series against BNA, 8-6, 8-7, which continues the trend for WEBL. And this is an interesting trend that I don't even know if you're aware of. You're getting a nice little fun Xenox fun fact here. WEBL have not won a game in regulation this entire stage in any match they've played in Korea.
Well, that is a damning stat. Well,
but the good news is, at this point, you can win in overtime and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say. So it's not the end of the world, but especially in a map like this, we're heading into the third, you want to be going in with a lot of confidence. An OT win may not do that, so see how WEBL go about unlocking this map. They're going to kick it off with the Blitz here through detention for round 1. Shu, though, responds immediately with pressure above, spots those feet, and we'll just stall out this push for a little while longer.
I'd like to see LAVEGA get aggressive here on Border defensively, look to take these early contact fights, especially the first, 2-3 rounds where they could really further cement that pressure onto the shoulders of WEBL, knowing that if they can get a 2-3 round sort of lead, WEBL might just crumble under that pressure. And as I'm saying that, while they are being somewhat aggressive, it's a pretty standard hold towards security for Shu on the Soulless. He's got a nice little extension over towards 90 as well. And it's a good start. They deal with the Blitz. The Dockerby's taken off the board as well. And this is a very, very good start from LAVEGA. They are just making life difficult for WEBL in the sense that they can't even get into the building without someone dying.
A minute 20 then on the clock. And a good first round here from LAVEGA. We'll see if Coupe, can maybe try and find a couple of kills and try to find something, but Blobber Shield's still standing. LAVEGA not throwing away picks. They're holding their ground at the moment. And turning wave things to kick off here for WEBL. It may well be flawless, in fact, here for LAVEGA. Their efforts to kickstart this second map and close out this series in a 2-0 fashion and crush what has otherwise been a relatively successful stage for WEBL. Not much Ino can do from this position, and he'll probably just be best served sitting back and seeing what he can find. Boost up now over towards Archives, but he gets slapped down immediately. It's 5 unanswered kills from LAVEGA to kick off Border.
Yeah, but it's Armory and Archives, so I probably don't put too much stock into it. If there's a site on this map that defense can typically do well on, that is the site. It's everywhere else that attackers can usually have some success on Border. And I also think when you look into account what is this region, Guz, I don't actually think this is going to be an attacker-sided game. Again, not to be disrespectful, but LAVEGA, WEBL, they're not really going to put on a masterclass of attacking Siege. It's going to be difficult. And I think it's going to come down to who can play the defense actually more aggressive better. Because on Border, you don't want to get sort of lulled into this sense of steam where you kind of sit site. You can't really sit site on Border. If you give up map control, attackers going to start to really strangulate site. And they're going to be able to get key areas, unlock site, and really probably win most rounds. So you do need to be aggressive. And you saw that right there. Really good performance from LAVEGA. So LAVEGA have played that last round really well, because they've shown early on that they're happy to take the fights, they're happy to be aggressive, and maybe there's a bit of confidence by winning that Oregon in the way that they did, where they looked a little bit down and out, and they really just brought it back winning the last 4 rounds. So if we can continue to see LAVEGA play in this fashion, build up a strong lead going into the second half, WEBL's really going to be on the back foot. And again, the only thing for me is I think this will be defender-sided, despite it being a Border.
So the Grim in play then, round number 2. And we'll see how much of an impact that will have in creating space for the attack and locking down defenders in key positions. See where Ino looks to entry, but the rest of the team is stacked over towards CCTV. Shoe on the boost inside of Archives, looking to lock down his hold. And it's a pretty broad extension here from the defense. You also have Damali up on the Frost, Crown as well on the Malusi, but we will have really good information. That's a nade opportunity from down below, I would imagine. But Damali will fall off.
First kill here going to be so important, so impactful. Can LAVEGA once again make it difficult for WEBL to just even get map control, get a little bit of map presence? Grim, Hive Launcher to try and help alleviate some of that, but they lose TJ on the Ash. Marley over towards Fountain gets that kill, and no trade from Coupe. I mean, how can he from that sort of position? The peek down should get the head. No! What a shot from Wally to win that. The low ground. Peeking on up, that is not an easy shot to land, and he does, and it's a 5 versus 3 start once again. 2 rounds in a row for LAVEGA.
WEBL just don't have any answers on the attack at the moment. They're not finding trades, which is making it difficult, and again, the round at this point over. So LAVEGA, to their credit, are doing a really good job. And it's going to get to the point where this momentum will build to become overwhelming for WEBL. If LAVEGA are able to execute a perfect rotation and get the first 3 sites, unless WEBL can really counteract these holds in the last 3 rounds of the half and make up a huge deficit, because keep in mind these 2 rounds have been flawless, they're not going to be able to win out this map, and their hopes of winning the series will be dashed as well. So we'll wait and see if it does end up being a flawless round here. Perhaps does spot 1 and should get killed. But he doesn't. And that little engagement there probably reflecting some of the woes that WEBL are having at the moment. They're just not able to win out anything.
10 seconds left. 5 seconds left.
Yeah, this is a little bit concerning to start. Just also the nature of the 2 rounds now.
Operators,
No
you are
kills in
out of
2
time.
rounds is not something we see too often at Pro League level. And I think that's just far too easy for LAVEGA. Yeah, big concerns early for WEBL, and they take a tactical timeout. That is a quite damning statistic to not have found a single kill on a map like Border, of which you've picked it, in a cutthroat do or die, best of 3, win goes home. Winner moves on, loser goes home. And that's the way you open up the 2 attacking rounds. That is very, very damning. But a really good start from LAVEGA. The way that they've kind of played both rounds. Again, I like the way that they've set up. They're happy to look for those early fights. They're not just sitting back. They're not just looking to be ultra defensive. They're getting in the face of WEBL. And they're just honestly making life very difficult for WEBL to even really get map presence and pressure. And that's the main takeaway for me. And that's the reason why LAVEGA have got this 2-0 start. And they are in a really commanding position now in this series.
Yeah, they'll be able to bolster that if they win 3 rounds straight, which does look, I mean, quite likely, to be fair. The first 2 rounds are being extremely, extremely dominant. The question will be, how can WEBL unlock this? And this is even without Islami and Mirror in play, which typically will bolster key power positions and make it very difficult to clear. They're not even in play. It's just simple things like deployable shield setups that WEBL are making life difficult for themselves with. So, yeah, it's a challenging little position they find themselves in currently. I don't know if they need to go for something a little bit more radical here. Maybe try and hit site extremely direct. Like front door vents or something to just change up the pacing here a little bit, because I fear if they keep going for these sort of monotonous map clears, the same thing's going to happen.
5 seconds left before insertion.
Oh, I'm in agreement.
Use a bomb.
Definitely feels like a very grim moment for WEBL. So, very early tactical timeout taken though. I like that. A lot of teams don't usually like to go for a second round attack, but I think that's clearly been warranted after a very difficult start. They don't change up too much. They bring the Grim once again, I think, because they're trying to clear out certain positions. And I think the Grim works fine on border when a team like LAVEGA is really tying down these key positions. You can kind of try and push them out. Rand's going to get some very early pressure over towards top east stairs, so at least a bit of control, and he should be able to deal with that deployable shield. And they finally get a kill. And it's on to Wally too. So you got to punish that aggression. If the defense on order is going to be aggressive and get in your face, got to be prepared for that. And if you are, you can easily find kills. They will present themselves to you. And, you know, it did die eventually after, so well, it was a very short-lived lead in the round for WEBL. Back to a 4 versus 4, but the biggest culprit in the first 2 rounds has at least been eliminated in Wally.
So 4 versus 4 then. We will finally able to get a kill on the board, but the question will be, can they roll that into something more? Good pressure onto Shu, so he's now fallen off. DJ can take ground inside of Archives and link up with Naps as well in Armory. Defense will now fall down, spread horizontally across the objective and the surrounding rooms. It's not bad here from WEBL. We'll now see them look to gather more information for the final portion of this particular push. They don't have the soft breach available, like a buck or a sledge for instance, to really help open up the floor here. They do have soft breach though, and Naps will display that at the moment. Able to clear out vents. Watch that rotation as well. It's going to be difficult for LAVEGA unless someone can maybe make a push back upstairs.
Oh, Shu gets caught. Yeah, and the vert pressure way too strong from WEBL. This is probably the one round that LAVEGA have really given up a lot of the map control and rightfully punished. 2 versus 4. Down to just Damali and Guard. Guard had at least a couple of nice clutches over on Oregon, but this will be an even more difficult task as the flashes go out. No real response straight away, but it allows Rand to just drop down, get the plant. Cross is being watched by TJ, wins that fight against Guard. And so in the end, WEBL win out. And it all just comes down to getting map control, getting the vert, playing off of that, and able to really punish LAVEGA for giving them that position. And off the back of the tactical timeout, they find success and their first round win here on their map pick.
Yeah, doing a better job there of clearing positions and actually gaining a bit of control and pressure. And we could see LAVEGA, their site was not where you wanted to be. And we saw players isolated. And then there was no reattempt from LAVEGA to actually get control back up above,
Defenders,
which
protect your bombs
obviously would have
from
been
being
difficult,
defused by
but
attackers.
probably the only option they had left. Back now, though, to Armory. And there was little to suggest that LAVEGA will fault again on this objective and then the preceding one. So a 4-2 scoreline at half-time is what we're looking at currently. See though if WEBL can tidy things up. It's all about that pressure factor. They need to be having an impact on this map. They need to be making LAVEGA feel uncomfortable, not allowing the likes of Wally to run around and continue to frag out, and they need to try and get some of their own players on attack into this game.
5 seconds to insertion. Attacker's objective is to defuse a bomb.
Yeah, so better round for WEBL. Can they turn this into a bit of a trend to close the half out? 3 rounds to go. LAVEGA. Well, I did get a sense that this was going to be slightly defender-sided. I think in terms of a scoreline, both teams would be content with at the conclusion of this half. It would be 3-3. They go a lot closer to that particular margin than WEBL as it stands. Biggest thing is, of course, someone like a Wally. Yeah, did he maybe get over aggressive in that last round? Poke his head out. Potentially got punished and won't probably look to do that again here in the 4th. And also site choice now too, over towards Armory and Archives. It's going to be a little bit more difficult for WEBL. They can't just have the ease of clearing above and then playing the vert. This will have to be a little bit more horizontal. Take the fights against LAVEGA, and so far from what we've seen, they've lost the majority of them in this match. Deep in towards Office at the moment from LAVEGA. Shoot. And they get some pressure over towards Break. That nade obviously gets caught by the magnet. EJ had to be a little careful there. As for a pre-fire peek down towards 90, doesn't find player of Wally. But they do get Shoot. Just outside security window. They get the kill onto Shoot, who was looking to be aggressive. Another opening kill for WEBL, 2 rounds in a row. In the last round, there was a trade eventually by LAVEGA. They don't find it here. WEBL double down. They get rid of Crown. And they're just starting to flex their muscles a little bit here on border. Starting to look a lot more comfortable. And Wally tries to do too much. They tried to bring the round back from the brink, and now they further compound it. And this is a big sight win for WEBL.
Attackers have recovered their defuse.
Pretty typical snowball round here for the attack. Shu throwing away his life. Second consecutive round. Losing control over towards CCTV, weakens the rest of the hold. WEBL capitalize through Office. Do a good job in closing that one out. And positive signs that if they are able to work that opening pick, they actually have what it takes then to convert the round in that case, in a very convincing fashion.
Yeah, that was much better from WEBL. And that round even more convincing. And I think the one prior to it. And I'll still happily stand by my thoughts. And if you want to disagree, guys, you can. But I think this region lends itself into really favoring the defense a lot of the times, regardless of the map.
Protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
Kind of go and have a look and have a quick glance at the maps that are attacker-sided in Korea. There's only 2. And it's Bank and Chalet. That's it.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, I think, for LAVEGA to keep that run of form up throughout this map, and already showing signs that it is not impervious to being broken down by the attack. So good work from WEBL. They needed to respond, and they have in a pretty good fashion. Go over to Talon's Archives then, round number 5. We edge closer towards the conclusion of this half. An even scoreline at the moment, an opportunity for one of these teams to edge out. The fuse in play for this particular round. Secondary hard breach can be used by Coupe over towards detention. And then of course he can transition up above and look to clear out the likes of Workshop and other key positions down below in towards the objective and surrounding rooms. Could also be a horizontal focus here. Does look like Naps is posturing to enter vents and transition through Workshop. As opposed to just soft breaching from above. That means the likes of Wally need to be super conscious, guard as well, that they don't let these players get in for free.
Feels like a big round here now for LAVEGA. WEBL have responded. They've started to play some of their better siege of really this series in the last 2 rounds.
Located by attackers.
Still feel as if one more round for LAVEGA will be probably good enough. Where are they going to find it, though? And through main. And I think he's going to maybe catch someone off guard here as he slips in and holds the angle towards site, but no, I don't know if there's going to be much movement from Wally, not just yet, not for a little bit of time. He'll happily just stay tucked in. In fact, he might even have a little bit of information himself, the way that he's kind of viewing it, and they don't know of his whereabouts unless he does get droned. And I think Rand's gone straight past him, so Wally should be on for one. No, he doesn't find it on the initial swing. But Rand did eventually lose his life elsewhere to Shu, and he finds a second in quick succession. So a very rapid response from LAVEGA in this round. And even though, you know, was able to get one there, immediately traded, and LAVEGA just have the numbers in and around site. And that's a far too good round from them. Not much WEBL could do. And LAVEGA do get to their 3rd round.
Yeah, so good there from LAVEGA, just when the match was starting to go against them, able to find that site quite comfortable for them. Again, winning key engagements around the map. WEBL not given a lot of breathing room. They tried a couple of different pivots throughout the round, but LAVEGA seemed to have, generally speaking, actually quite a good read on that.
Attackers need to
It's
locate and
difficult
defuse
on
the bomb.
border. A map where the attack is often trying to deceive their opponents as to where they're actually looking to get control, because it is very difficult to gain even just small bits of space. We were just unable to really get that one across the line. So 3-2 scoreline, final round of half. WEBL looking to be perhaps a little bit more experimental this time around. Nook in play. Yana as well, so double lurk. Twitch as well. I don't know what Twitch is looking to directly counter. Maybe some of the catch and the mute jammers as well. There
5
is
seconds
banned
left
out.
before insertion. Bomb located by
But of course,
attackers.
you still do get additional information from those
Attackers'
shock
objective is to
drones.
defuse the bomb.
Activated shock drone.
It does feel like a round, though, where WEBL probably don't want to concede a 4th to LAVEGA to close this half out, considering it is their map pick. So top east stairs push once again. Player lurking at the end of the hallway, though, and towards top east is Wally. Boy, that was a swing and a half. Really more just a half swing. He never really fully committed to it, and TJ gets a nice kill. Again, clears that position. Wally started 5-1 guns. He's 5-4 since. He's just continuing to play this ultra-aggressive playstyle, and it's kind of costing LAVEGA. So 3 rounds in a row, he's just offered nothing and really just offered his life away to WEBL. Really makes life more difficult for LAVEGA when he's just losing his life to kind of just half swings like that.
So we'll now see those floors of terror drones being employed by naps. Trying to perhaps clear something inside a CCTV or gain a bit of information. Sure, though, on the Solus is able to counteract that. And in fact, might be able to go for the run out, and does. An intriguing decision. If WEBL knew that there was a Solus up, you cannot be droning in proximity of that particular operator, or your position will be revealed. Concentration out over towards office, single wall being locked down by Crown. Only one grenade remains here for WEBL.
Drop the bomb diffuser.
Henry Mines as well, making this very, very tricky. Crown eventually, though, does fall from that single window. And Guard not able to immediately hit a trade.
Well, he did get the down onto Ran, so now makes it a 2 versus 2. Didn't confirm it, but it's still close to good enough. Minute left, so a bit of time. The question is, of course, can Ran get brought back up? He does, and I think really that's on Guard. How does he allow that? He got the down. And then Damali just ends up dying to TJ. So Guard gets the down onto Ran and then just unpeaks, gives position just to hold Fountain, and because he's a bit wary of the 90 push, and in the end just does nothing. That was shocking from Guard. I mean, I don't understand what he's actually doing there. He gets the down onto Ran, doesn't confirm, allows him to get brought back up, holds Fountain, doesn't help his teammate, and then just runs into 90 and dies.
Yeah, definitely not the best siege I've ever seen, but a testament to the pressure that LAVEGA were able to overload that position, or pardon me, Weeble were able to overload that position. And perhaps there was some kind of information that Guy was kind of playing off. You could see that he constantly was checking behind. So there was information or lack thereof, which made his position a little bit compromised.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by
Regardless,
attackers.
3-3 scoreline. Weeble on their map pick defensively. This is the position you want to find yourself in. This is very winnable from here. It's all about just executing on the game plan they have for this half.
Yeah, and I said 3-3 is probably good enough for both teams. I think both teams would be content at that portion. I have been saying I think this will end up being slightly in favor to the defense. I didn't really think maybe 4-2 in favor, but at least to the point where I think 3-3, yeah, probably par for the course. And now it gives Weeble, though, a chance to close out defensively.
5 seconds to insertion.
The one thing for LAVEGA now as well is they'll actually get to play as 5. As Wally in the last 3 rounds was just a non-factor, complete non-factor. Didn't find a kill, died within the first 30-40 seconds each round, half swing, gave away map position. And I think on a map like Border as well, it's so important to not lose a player like that. You think about it, if you're holding top east stairs and you die, that's a big amount of map control now for Weeble, or it was in the first half. So that was a big factor for LAVEGA that was not helping them. If Wally wants to be aggressive, well, maybe being on the attack will be better suited for it. Logic Bomb goes out early from Damali. And to open up an entry in towards break. First round going to be quite important here. Ran holds towards that security hatch, and Hard will send in the Cludstone as the castle barricade does get taken down. That's a nice default over towards 90 to get hacked along with the Sawyer Gate too. So Cludstone getting at least some effectiveness out of the Bravo from Guard.
So 5 versus 5 then, and a minute 50 on the clock. As LAVEGA slowly begin to be stalled out. Guard will look to kick things off by gaining information, trying to hack the DPC and Armory, but was taken down in the meantime. Down below, TJ Solace with the shotgun in hand gets the first pick in this round, so that's the lurk from the Nook dismissed. Would have probably been an opportunity as well there to send vertical grenades and maybe try and find something to go the way of the attack. Not the case though. Guard again throws a clutch to get that BPC. Don't know why he's not giving up after the first attempt, because clearly that defender is not being pressured by anybody else at the moment. Regardless though, minute on the clock. Weeble retain their advantage.
Attackers have located a bomb.
50 seconds as well. Not a lot of time here for LAVEGA. Marlin seems to be aware there's one top main. That's Coupe. Takes a bit of damage, but is able to stay alive. Again, another little moment that goes the way of Weeble. Well, that's been the difference, I think, between Border and Oregon, is that Weeble have been able to win some of these little key moments just a little bit more often. Wally finally has an impact here in the server after an amazing start, but then a lackluster couple rounds. Crown to plant, default behind the bomb chassis, and with some time remaining too. So LAVEGA actually, with 50 seconds left, got moving, got around the map. And remember, Coupe's down. And there goes Ran as well from Crown. Inno gets one, but the cross was there, watched by Wally. LAVEGA respond with a big round. A much needed round after Weeble really started to get going here on Border. They just halt that ever so slightly and retake the lead 4-3.
So LAVEGA now edging out in front. Good job to recover that particular round. It wasn't the best of starts. The Nook dying down below, I thought was going to be, you know, quite significant, because as we often see, you lose that opportunity to get map control. The rest of the attack can snowball as they try and cling on to any remaining win conditions, but they found their ways back into that particular round. Some nice shots landed, and WEBL now, they'll need to produce a response of their own. Armory Archives site. LAVEGA are going to drop the Bravo, which I think is a wise decision. Didn't offer too much in the way of value in the previous round. I think it's an interesting one, and we'll see how that particularly plays out. Guard will switch on to Twitch, so off Bravo onto Twitch. Again, in an attempt to gain more information and to counter those mute jammers as well.
10 seconds left before insertion. 5 seconds left before insertion. Attackers are moving to defuse a bomb.
So a big moment here on border. LAVEGA wanting to edge closer to closing the series out. WEBL just haven't really been able to get a solidified foothold. Nice little comeback in the first half, but, well, somewhat undone by allowing LAVEGA to get an early attacking round to start the second half. And it's the way in which they got the round two. Good site pressure, got the plant down. It's not as if it was just sort of a TDM trade around the map and won the gunfights. Real good control of top east stairs, able to open up office and get entry really comfortably on what is a very, very good site for defense. Just get the feeling they've got the edge, and if Wally continues to play that aggressive style, that's going to be a big, big factor for LAVEGA. It worked again in that round. It didn't work in the last couple of rounds on the defense. Certainly got punished for his aggressiveness, but I think attacking here into border, he's going to be the one that can continue to unlock certain positions for LAVEGA. Guard sending this drone deep in towards 90. It's Coupe that gets the opening kill though onto Shu. That's through to the sledge. Crowd's got to be careful. Coupe does get traded, but it's only a down. As he goes down the hatch, he should be able to get brought back up, but that sends another player over towards his location to get him back up into the server. And also still at least means that that position he was holding is now weakened. There's a good live drone as well for Wally to push through onto. Minute and a half. Wally once again continues to be aggressive. Now Coupe did get brought back up, and he's got a nitro cell that he can play through the hatch in the round. If he doesn't want to have to go for a deep rotate, he could still play from below and have a big impact.
Question will be, is he going to be dislodged by the attack? It's probably unlikely, especially at the disadvantage that LAVEGA now find themselves in. Gemini from Wally spots one in Fountain. And they're actually playing off that bit tricky. Marley will rotate down below, so perhaps he's going to be the one to try and take the one onto Solace. In this position, LAVEGA, even if they get in towards the objective, it will be a difficult plant. Made harder by Ino finding another kill. That was a very strange position that Ren found himself in, but rightly punished. Damali now to push forward. It's pinged, but not quite the aim. Diffuser collected. TJ, I presume, still down below on the Solace.
20 seconds. Not a lot of time. We haven't really seen many instances of a 2v4 comeback on border so far. We saw it a couple of times on Oregon. A bit trickier to pull it off here though on border. So many angles. Well, he does have the bomb and he's got to get it down.
5 seconds to go.
Has to stick it now, cannot get off. And Guard is, like, what is Guard doing? I understand he wants to clear the player below, but
Operators, you are out of time.
there's still so much presence up above. And if you're going to clear the player below, you've got to go a lot quicker than with 4 seconds left. There's like 4 seconds left on the clock. I get he wants to be careful that if you're running down below and you want to clear that player, you've got to be making sure he's not holding an acute angle, waiting for the push. But unfortunately, when you're so short on time and you're already in a 2v4, you kind of just got to go into send it mode, guys. You've got to just send it. It's not like there's a minute left. It's not a 3v3, in which case then you can play that way perfectly fine. But there's 4 seconds left.
Defenders, protect
Yeah,
your bombs from
I
being
agree.
used by
It needed
attackers.
to be dealt with a lot earlier on in the round, but LAVEGA in the 4 versus 5, it's difficult to justify
Attackers have located
investing
bombs.
the resources, the manpower into actually trying to clear that position if, at that point, especially earlier on, LAVEGA even knew there was a Solace a lot down below. Solace, they didn't really have that much of an impact anyway, because LAVEGA never really found themselves in a position to actually go for a proper plant during the round. So, it is what it is, 4-4 scoreline. As we enter round number 9, Towers. Another intriguing round. WEBL are going to be bringing Frost and the Fenrir in play. That's going to be difficult to counteract if you're looking to lurk around, especially Wally on LAVEGA. I do like Guard though, picking IQ in this instance. Offers a good counter to both the Valkyrie and the Pulse. And so as we will try to gain information throughout this particular round, if Guard is able to stay alive, he should have really good counter info on 2 of these 5 defensive ops.
Yeah, it's turning into a little bit of a back and forth now as well here on border where, yeah, LAVEGA got a somewhat decent little start. WEBL brought it back, and now it's really difficult to see who's going to be able to get that separation. Venom's was somewhat similar as well on Oregon, so I think you can pretty clearly get the takeaway that these two teams are quite evenly matched. But I think at any point that it's this kind of close back and forth, you'd probably rather just be on the defense to close these kind of games out. So I think WEBL would be pretty content. Although Crown is in sight, and he's just sticking it inside of the dredge mine, eventually stopped by Coupe. And Damali now takes over as well. What am I watching? It might just work though, because Guard plays Guardian with a swift double kill on Duran and TJ, and Naps tries to come and try and save the day. One just holding, he stands perfectly prone, hiding to allow those at top waiting to get the kills from above. What a strange old rush, but it works from LAVEGA.
Yeah, really peculiar out there defensively from WEBL to not lock down that particular push, but also LAVEGA to not only attempt it once, get shut down, but then to just immediately attempt. I guess at that point they were already committed to the game plan, so they had to just follow through. And if they had have alleviated pressure, it gave that window of opportunity for WEBL to play retake more swiftly. So some good work there from LAVEGA. I was kind of waiting to see when throughout this series one team on the attack was going to perhaps be a little bit more aggressive and pick up the pace and not risk being stalled out. Finally there it is. Took a little while, but LAVEGA now 1 round away from losing out this particular, or getting series point and then being able to close it out. I doubt they're going to reattempt something similar here this time around, but WEBL, I'm sure it will play in the back of their minds that they cannot allow a repeat of what just happened.
10 seconds to go. 5 seconds to go.
But just as it was on Oregon, slight advantage now for LAVEGA. They were able to close it out there. Can they do so here on border and shut hopes and dreams of this run, this amazing run from WEBL this stage? Shut that down for good. And maybe just give hope to the LAVEGA run that they can do what they did back in stage 1, once again in stage 2. Sometimes it's just about playing your best at the right time, peaking at the right time. If they can close this out in a good fashion, they'll take some really good form and momentum going into that match against Talon. And so far as well, on this particular map, everyone has been able to sort of play a part, play a role, get involved. Big round from Guard. Wally's been massive. Shu, again, a clear standout. Probably haven't seen the best from Damali, but Ground's been a little bit better than what he was on Oregon. And speaking of Damali, trying to get involved. He's used one of those logic bombs just then. Now one more available.
So the Pulse again in play here for WEBL, so they should have some good information available, and Ran is currently playing that inside of server. Volk as well, also in play, but much like the last round, the IQ counter is also being employed by Guard. So that is going to be an interesting dynamic as the round moves forward. Sledge under pressure, but Shu avoids the majority of the damage from that Nitro cell. And continuing to peek around for more, but Shu, despite his presence known, is able to get a kill and is not traded.
I think Rand's going to feel like he's going to go for this, and he will find it. Yes, just in time. On to shoot. Trade is there. Little delayed. And more information that can be found with that heartbeat sensor. That's a big player to kill as well. Shu's been so immense here on border, and then towards 90. Wally gets caught. So does Guard. It's going to be 5-5. As it was on Oregon, it shall be once again on border, you would think, unless this is successful from Crown. Nitrocell shot out. Damali watching, but he cannot watch both sides of the wall, and that's the round.
I mean, yeah, it was a good attempt there from LAVEGA. Damali, though, can't cover every single angle. Plant was close to going down, but not close enough. And we'll now see Damali in a last-ditch attempt to rotate elsewhere, but ran with the shotgun. He had a huge round there. Read into multiple pushes on the top floor. I believe he got 2 through Vert with the shotgun in hand, on top of the nitro cell as well. A big round there from the Pulse. And again, questions now need to be asked. The likes of Guard on the IQ. It is your biggest job, finding the Valkyrie cameras and countering the Pulse. So if we see the IQ brought once more, we need to see Ran and his position be better pressured by the attack.
It just feels like WEBL
Attackers need to locate
holding on for dear life to stay alive, not just in this series, but in this competition. So we head to break point for the second time in this series. It was a 7-5 victory for LAVEGA back on Oregon. They were able to win the last 2 rounds from this position. Maybe WEBL can do the same, but now on their own map pick to close it out on the defense here. Over towards Workshop. And a big opportunity. The last time we saw a site like this, it was WEBL on the attack that really just got solid vert control. Punish the defense on site. Will LAVEGA go for something similar?
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and defuse it.
Once again, we'll see who can edge out. Here with 5-5 the scoreline. LAVEGA will be very eager to close out the series here and not risk Nighthaven Labs, which is poised to be another close map. Again, the Pulse in play this time. Solace as well, but no IQ in response this time around. You know, with a hacked drone, we'll be able to position this inside of CCTV if he so wishes. That drone and run down below. I do not envy the attack that is looking to posture over there at the moment. TJ as well is in the other corner of the map. The drones. WEBL at the moment on defense are just trying to balance out his info operators and trying to gather as much as they can so they can kind of discern where this push is coming from.
And again, ran straight onto him. What's he going to be able to do? He held down that last round with a heartbeat sensor, followed up then by the nitro cell. He keeps tracking, but it's Wally that gets the open kill onto Naps. Did hear the nitro cell go off in the background. That was from Coupe. A couple more still available though through Inno, most importantly through Ran. I feel like Ran should be good for one. DJ also getting a lot of information down from below. You can get this intel though, but you've got to execute on it. It's one thing to get the information, it's another thing to be successful off it. Crown gets a kill onto TJ. So now Ran has to probably get into a position where he can actually follow off on his heartbeat sensor. He can't just keep tracking, can't just keep calling out positions. Needs to find a kill, as he did in the last round. Otherwise, LAVEGA are going to get match and series point.
Sensor activated.
He's a little bit lost at the moment. He's got to find a kill. He also can't just panic throw on that. Probably might be panic throw territory. But by doing nothing, it's also just giving LAVEGA a heap of time here to further maintain their position. Oh, what a shot from Wally! Ran's still got the nitrocell to land though onto Crown. Unfortunately, so much time for LAVEGA, and this is why you don't push with 3, 4, 5, 6 seconds left. You got 20, 25 seconds, plenty of time to salvage it, get the diffuser. Really good work from LAVEGA in that round to get the vert, to play off it perfectly, but also more importantly, 25, 30 seconds, that's when they went for the plant, not 10 seconds. Had it been 10 seconds, that round could have been thrown into total disarray.
Yeah, that was pretty intense end to the round, but some good work there from LAVEGA. They put in the groundwork. They really ground away at that defense. They were the defense themselves posting up in each corner of the map with the Solace and the Pulse especially gathering quite a bit of information. Despite that though, LAVEGA is still able to spot some weaknesses and exploit them. They now have match point, series point, and an opportunity to advance themselves further into this bracket. Well, still a difficult run from here, but who knows what they'll be able to achieve in that semi-final. The winner of this series does take on Talon. And I think that would be a somewhat even matchup. Talon though finishing second in their respective group.
5 seconds to go.
And winning a decent portion of their maps. In fact, it was a 2-0 against WEBL in the quarterfinal of the knockout stage. So LAVEGA winning this series in a 2-0 fashion will come to the conclusion that that matchup against Talon could end up being a decently close remapper. Solace in play again once more here for what may be the final round of this match and what is certainly the final round of regulation. Castle as well being employed, so utility key here for the attack.
So match point, series point, however you want to call it. It's a big, big moment here for WEBL. They weren't able to close it out on Oregon. It was LAVEGA that got the job done in this very position. Looking to do so once again now on border. Ran towards 90. On site. DJ down below lurking on that Solace. 2 drones gone so far. And this is where WEBL just can't get sucked into the aggression game. Looking to peak. Don't need to take the 1v1s. Play the team game in this particular round. It's a really solid side if you don't just throw bodies away. Go hunting, to go peeking, to try and keep positions like 90 under control for too long. 90 seconds left. Coupe holds close with a shotgun, and he needs to maintain a position like that. Wally gets her to default. Coupe drops down. No nitro cell. He's already used that, so not as much of a threat from below. What a shot from Wally. That's not an easy shot. Deep towards 90, gets the head of Ran, deals with the Wamai, and it gives LAVEGA the player advantage. And there's a second to compound it onto Coupe. He dropped below. Shu would have caught him on the rotate. And that's a 2-player advantage now for LAVEGA with 60 seconds left. And up main, I think there was a player towards security side, and that's a drone. And then followed up perfectly from Shu. Put himself in a position to follow up on that drone. Flash, watching, waiting. Gets traded. Probably one of the better rounds from LAVEGA to close it out. Saving somewhat their best for last. LAVEGA's run continues. WEBL's dream is shattered here in the LCQ. From a decent stage 2, they are eliminated and LAVEGA move forward.
Well, they really ground away at the series. They continue to improve and improve and improve and improve. And that last round, really clean way to close out the match, close out the series, as you mentioned, shattering the hopes and dreams of WEBL, who thought they may have actually been a decent chance to make that semi-final.